James,
Oh, no.
are you
Oh,
ready?
no.
We're in the lion's den. We're in the lion's den. That's right. This is our chambers.
Poppy color ain't no joke. She all right.
There should be 8 people sitting down in committee meetings getting shit done so they can do something in this community. Because you gotta get somebody that don't like you. At the end of the day, you gotta get somebody that don't like you. This is the best company. No BS fight. Nobody BS can stop. Neither can you. You gotta get somebody from the other side and say yes. Even for the president. Hello, I'm good company. There you go home. As you can say, that was the final straw.
Oh, no.
It's a 50-50 chance to get to be good.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I gotta have a down
Oh, no. What y'all over here giggling about? Laughing at him. Just laughing at him. Giggle laughing at him because he's funny. They ain't like that before. He's not gonna have this one. Well,
Oh, y'all see that? Y'all understand that? Y'all part of us? Y'all part of us? Y'all ain't going up there? And what y'all, hey, what y'all gonna be doing tomorrow for I'll be in front of the state trooper building?
oh,
Yeah, for J. Mon, yeah.
All right, the time is 5:06. Asking for all colleagues in the building to please take their seats so we can get started with the meeting. You ready? Everyone seated? All right. All right, so the time is now 5:07, and this special city council meeting called by the mayor is now underway. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamein is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 3 members present.
Okay, we have 3 members present. All right, and so we look out into the audience and we see the councilman in the 5th ward, the councilman in the 8th ward, and the councilman in the 6th ward. They are in the building and they're not taking their seats. So we will. And also, we must be mindful that that although the councilwoman in the 6th ward is in the audience, she cannot yell out. That makes her audience member. And now she's being brought to order, so thank you. Excuse me, council. Excuse me, Ms. Mashat. Okay, so go ahead. With that request for information, I'll take your request.
Madam Chair, thank you for the floor. Through you to the city attorney, if he could please read, I know that at our last meeting on Monday, that was this Monday, wow, he read the statute in which we can have meetings, he read in the charter where we can have meetings, and that we do indeed have a president. So city attorney, could you please, for those who might have been absent on Monday, read why this is a legal meeting and we do have someone who is able to preside over the meeting?
So essentially, as I stated on Monday, and to repeat that position, 3103A and 3201A, they do refer to 3103A states within 30 days of taking office, and then similarly, section 3201A states following certification of the election of its members. The inclusion of that language seems to refer to after a citywide council election when all 9 seats are up for election. So, for example, 2021, that'll occur again in 2026 and 2030. So those sections from the charter seem to refer to those situations. 3103A does state also that the president shall be elected to a 1-year term. It's silent as to what occurs after the expiration of that 1-year term. To add to that language, we do have Council Rule 3.1, which states that the president is elected for a term which shall end on the 2nd Monday of November, but then it does continue on, or until a successor is elected. So it adds additional language that does not contradict the language found in the charter. I also gave the example on Monday of the multiple member bodies and the other bodies that this council appoints members to, and the situation where typically if the charter language or the ordinance language is silent as to what happens after the expiration of the term of one of those members on a multiple member or other appointing body, those seats continue, the person in that seat continues in their role until they are either reappointed or a different individual is appointed. I also gave the example, we have one multiple member body, that's the CWAC, the Citywide Advisory Council. That's the only body, multiple member or other body to which the council appoints members to that has a hard termination date. And essentially what that says, that's in the ordinance 2-26.1 subsection E. The second part says, once the present term of a current member, again, this is the CWAC, expires, he or she shall not serve on the CWAC beyond that term unless appointed as provided by ordinance. In this case, with the president and the vice president of city council, we don't have that language. We don't have that in the charter. We don't have that in the council rules. So that's why I have my legal opinion that the term does continue until appointed. And then I also pointed out, for purposes of a special city council meeting, the current president, their term does continue. For a regularly scheduled council meeting, for example, the one to occur next Monday, then the first item on the agenda would be the election by this body of a council president.
Councilwoman 7th Ward. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so thank you, Attorney, for stating on the record that the leadership will remain in place to a successor. Excuse me? Okay, ma'am, again, you can't speak unless you're at the lectern. So since the city attorney have already stated, and ma'am, you cannot continue to walk around with the sign and obstruct the view of the residents. That is your warning, ma'am. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Ma'am. And so, since the attorney already have stated that the current leadership will remain in place until a successor is chosen, the argument that this is an illegal meeting falls directly on his face, and we have council members that are choosing not to fulfill their oath of office, making it a dereliction of their duty that they took when they took the oath to serve every single resident. So we have the vacant spots in wards 8, 5, and 6 that could be filled to pass hundreds of millions of dollars for the city of Flint and millions of jobs. Since they are deciding not to take their seats, we will go ahead and we will conclude this meeting. Oh, excuse me, what did you say? Councilman 7th Ward?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I just want the public to know that by refusing to take their seats and voting on several items, they're costing the city the potential of 150-plus good-paying jobs. They're also, excuse me, and they're also putting in jeopardy road projects that affect their own wards. And if we don't approve these, then we will not get the money to complete those projects that affect their wards. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So with that being said, the time is now 5, pardon me?
You guys speak into the mic, we can't hear you.
So the meeting's concluded?
So, Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I would ask that you ask our colleagues to return to their seats. Everyone is in the chamber so that we can have a meeting. We do have enough members present to have a quorum. The mayor called this special meeting. This is the second special meeting that has been called. We need to move on with the special meeting as opposed to just adjourning a meeting Again, as Councilwoman Priestley stated, to consider the following resolutions for approval, which is resolution number 240458-T, which is a resolution of support for fiscal year 2026 through 2029 for Transportation Improvement Program, also known as TIP, projects to secure funding for improvements to federal aid eligible roads within the city of Flint's jurisdiction. Resolution number 2, which is resolution number 240504-T, which is a resolution approving lease extension for 4813 Clio Road, which we know as the mini city hall. We know that's brought in $1 million of revenue to the city. That's important. People's jobs are also hanging in the balance in addition to that $1 million worth of revenue that has brought into the city. We know resolution number 3, which is on the agenda, which is resolution number 240480-T, which is a resolution authorizing the sale of the decommissioned city-owned land of Flint Commerce Center number 2, LLC. Then the fourth agenda item is resolution number 240510-T, which is a resolution adopting a deficit elimination plan for fiscal year 2023, ending fiscal year 2023, and item number 5, which is resolution number 240511-T, which is a resolution approving the lease of real property known as the Hasselbring Senior Center to Hasselbring Senior Center, a senior service organization. And so all of these items that are on here, these are important items, pressing items that we do need to take care of. Again, Madam Chair, I would ask that you urge our colleagues to take their seats so that we can move with the business of the city on these 5 important items. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. So again, I will compel all elected officials that have been elected to the Flint City Council and those that are in attendance in wards 8, 5, and 6 to take their seats so we can proceed with the city's business. So seeing that we have no movement,
Madam Chair,
go ahead, Ms.
I would
Michelle.
ask that we recess as the clerk tries to get in contact with our missing colleagues.
All right, so we are having a recess so the clerk can reach out to the council members, and it's so ordered.
can't have a meeting, but they can't have a meeting, they just can't pass. They need to just have a meeting. Yeah, they just need to have a meeting. It's just great. Even if we did have a packed house, we would have had this meeting at 7:30. That's the second reason. That's just the most recent reason why. But I already, give this, because I like it the way it is, because you gotta get somebody that don't like it. If it ain't, a 62 vote, a 7 to 1, an 8 to 0 vote. If y'all gotta sit down and you gotta really put some work in, you just can't go together with your 5% go home. And honestly, that's what the fight over that Thursday chair is. They just put those stuff up there. They got their 500. Go to your committee meeting and do your job. Talk to each other. And I swear to God, the roll call will be this short. This will be roll call. They will say Leon F. They will say Candy Boucher. They will say Liddell Lewis. They will say Candy Boucher. And they say Rich Jones. You're going to say Rich Jones. So we're still going to be in the same situation that they in now. They're going to have to work together. You got to get somebody that you don't get along with to vote with. Tell them, put your common sense. You got to do what you was elected to work together. And my God, you really earning your half of all salary on this. You guys, man, I'm talking loud too. Come on, you hear me? I don't care. I'm naturally loud too, so please don't think I can't talk to my council meeting because I'm loud. I get back on they'll try to give me a whisper. But my voice is loud. You take what it is, it is. But if they can, once again, even if they can sit down, you gotta get 200 people that don't want to vote in the vote. Eric May will be in. Shell, you're supposed to get the seat. But that's because everybody else be talking. They don't know why talking. They're like, I didn't know they were sit out audience. I thought they was recording. I was like, whoa, y'all must be comedian. Y'all gotta see the line like this tomorrow. There's certain meetings that I'm on this crash. Come through and give my all 60 feet at the same time. I don't know who y'all playing with. Rich Jones playing. The solution to this is, if it's legal for them to have, let them have told to go up there is it illegal. But they be breaking the law. Even though they don't have a president. Even though they don't have a president. So all right then, they see get up there, they don't know nobody gonna do it. Now they got to get up there and agree with somebody that they don't like. Cause you need to feel vote. That's common sense. That's common sense. People don't want to live in the city that don't have common sense.
Don't want to pressure that
left, but he ain't showed up yet. What's his name? The one. John. Yeah, that's the boy nephew. That's the baby boy. Yeah. I did good, man. Hey, I had You know what? I should punish that punish the whole goddamn world. If you were just a man on this family. That's how she was, bro. I'll get to run a TikTok. Hey, James. I said, y'all want me to be on y'all side? I get to
Hello, Candace. I'm back. Candace. Hello, Candace. I'm back. What? Hey, I saw her first. Back off, little O.J. Simpson looking guy. What?
Don't get put out. You had your first, second, and third one.
Catch me in the bathroom. Oh, I got to go.
I'm protesting. I'm not interviewing. Yeah, I'm here. Well, listen. Hey, listen. Pull me in for promotion Friday once y'all get the change. Pull me in on promotion, and I want to leave protest on my I'm serious. Now listen. I don't hear from your ass by February, so that's the time, President. I don't hear from you. I don't hear from you like that. It's gonna be Yeah, again? Change your room.
right, the time is now 5:49, asking for all city council members to please take their elected seats. All city council members to please take their elected seats. The time is now 5:50, and this special meeting is now being brought back to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. Ms. Priestley?
Yes. I just want to make it plain to the residents of the city that in order to move this city forward and to improve the lives of the residents, they need, their council people need to come to work. Just because they're in this room does not mean that they are working. They are getting paid to attend meetings. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Priestley. And Councilwoman Mashat?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to just, one more time for the record, state that this special council meeting was called by Mayor Sheldon Neely, and it was to consider the following resolutions for approval. Item number 1 was resolution number 2 for, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. There's too much.
Excuse me, we want to need order in the chambers. We have a lot of sidebar conversations, and we can't hear what the councilwoman is saying. So let's keep your voice down. Thank you. Go ahead.
Councilwoman Winfrey Carter is screeching in the audience.
Mr. Jones, please don't. I know you loud. Please don't.
To consider the following resolutions, Mayor Sheldon Neely called this special council meeting. Agenda item number 1, which is resolution number 240458-T, which is the resolution of support for fiscal year 2026 through 2029, which is transportation improvement program, TIP projects for secure funding for improvements to federal aid eligible roads within the city of Flint's jurisdiction. 2 of the roads that we were considering tonight is Hamilton, which is in the 5th Ward, and Van Slyke, which is in the 8th Ward. We also have someone here ready from the administration, ready to talk about the improvements for the street of Hamilton in the 5th Ward and the street of Van Slyke in the 8th Ward. I do believe both council people are currently present, so we could talk about these TIP projects for the 5th and 8th Ward, which is Hamilton and Van Slyke. Number 2 item on the agenda is resolution number 240504-2, resolution approving a lease extension for 4813 Clisle Road. As we all know, that 4813 Clisle Road is the mini city hall. We know that it has been quite a help to those on the north end. It's helped them alleviate spending some extra money from going to stores and having to pay their bills. They're able to go to 4813 Clisle Road, which is the mini city hall. They're able to go and take care of the bills without having an extra payment to pay the bill. We know that we have received letters from, and can one of you correct me because I can't remember. I know one was the Disability Network, and the other letter that we received was from, if somebody could tell me really quickly.
Double ARP.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Double ARP.
VAAA, thank you. So we received a letter from the Disability Network and VAAA in support of 4813 Cloud Road, which is the mini city hall. They stated how it is a convenience to residents that they service and how they are able to go and use the mini city hall. We also know that as winter is upon us, it's getting darker earlier, and so a lot of people don't necessarily feel safe walking the some 100-odd feet that you have to walk up to use the regular payment center here, and so they're able to use the drive-through service at the mini city hall. We also know that in addition to having support from VAAA and having support from the Disability Network, having residents who have stated that they need to keep the mini city hall, in addition to it being convenient for them to pay their bills without having to incur a fee to pay their bills, we also know that the mini city hall, which is located at 4813 Cloud Road, has also brought in about $1 million worth of revenue to the city. And so we have an opportunity tonight to continue services to that, services which are helping the city. I know that we all care about the city, and so resolution number 1, having safer roads on Hamilton, which is in the 5th Ward, and on Van Slyke, which is in the 8th Ward. We know that that is important to residents. Agenda item number 2, which is the mini Cloud Road, the mini city hall on Cloud Road that I just talked about. I just laid out all of the reasons why it is important for us to keep that service going for the residents. Agenda item number 3, which is resolution number 240480-2, which is a resolution authorizing the sale of the decommissioned city-owned land to Flint Commerce Center to LLC. Agenda item number 4, which is resolution number 240510-T, which is a resolution adopting a deficit elimination plan. Don't have to explain to you why that's important. And number 5, agenda item number 5, which is resolution number 240511-T, which is a resolution approving the lease of real property known as Hasselbring Senior Center to Hasselbring Senior Center, a senior services organization, which, you know, we've had the seniors come here a plethora of times. We've also had our colleagues say how important this senior center is, how important protecting the senior center is, the services at the center, I should say. And so we have an opportunity to address the services at Hasselbring tonight as well. But Madam Chair, I will say just as important, we have a duty, as my colleague in the 4th Ward has stated, to our residents to be in our seats, to be present and accounted for. Even if we do not agree with resolutions and what's going forward, then we have a duty to state on the record. I do want to state on the record that we do have colleagues who are in the chamber yet still absent from this meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. All right, so with that being said, I'll go ahead and just take my time in closing. I would like to apologize to the city of Flint employees that have families and things to do, because this is definitely a waste of your time when you could be with your families. And we know that as we try to move the business of the city forward, per the oath that we took, it is disheartening to see all the hard work that you put into these resolutions and making these deals to move the city forward just go up in smoke because our colleagues are refusing to follow council rules and the charter. And so it is 5:58, and this special city council meeting that covers hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investment in the city of Flint is now being adjourned.
Excuse me, everyone, if you filled out a speaker slip for the previous meeting, you will need to fill out a new slip for this committee meeting, so now we're going into committees. So if there is a committee meeting, you will have to have filled out a speaker slip for that meeting. Those are out there now.
I gotta start charging y'all for my public speaking anyway. I don't know everybody else making money on TikTok. I follow TikTok. You better go back. They got something. You better go find all the TikTok you.
asked Rich, I'm on my way up here for this meeting. She was asking was you running for the board. And I told her, so I'm important for you to, because you are running.
Let me know when you're ready, Davina. The time is now 6:05, and I hereby call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in, sorry. Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 5 members present.
There are 5 members present. Are there any agenda changes or additions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
All right, so do we have anyone here that's here for ARPA? Anyone here that's here for ARPA? Okay, are you with Motherly Intercession? Oh, okay. Anyone else here on behalf of ARPA? No? Okay, so Madam Chair, I would like to move Motherly Intercession's resolution to the front.
I'm looking for it.
Point of order.
What's your point?
There's no motherly.
There's no resolution on the agenda, ma'am.
Oh. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Seeing how there's none, it's now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address City Council have a total of 3 minutes to speak, and anyone who has not filled out a slip will not be allowed to speak at this meeting. First public speaker, please.
The first speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. And for the record, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. And to everybody in the United States who's watching this situation in Flint. And to the 6th Ward, your daddy done a really good precincts of the Buffalo Soldier over on Carpenter Road where the miniature city hall is. What the name? Miss, I can't hardly think now because y'all got me all Miss Hunt, you know who I'm talking about, your daddy. I went Saturday night at 2:30, and after the Buffalo Soldiers, it was a scene on there remind me of what they done to the black Buffalo Soldier. They scripted him, but they came back like Ray-Ro at the Eagle Club and dealt with them pale faces. And right on, anyway, I want to say this. After I went down and looked at the miniature police station, City Hall, but they put the bus station right in front of it. And everybody was filming me as I was walking up to the bus station. Across the street, and the bullets was all in the woman's house. And I heard that these drive-bys killed their baby and stuff. And the police department, they made the police department look bad, like Ed Teller jumping on Miss Poppycott last week. And the fireman had to grab him by the neck. I think I didn't want to look back because it sounded like they were attacking Woodson again all over. Woodson they almost let Woodson win. There he is right there. Been that such much. He can talk for himself. But anyway, like last week, we almost put a president in a situation, but you weren't here, Miss Barnon. But you was here. But they say, hey, Mr. Mitchell, how you gonna get home? I said, I ain't worried about that. I walk. They say, if you don't leave now, you're gonna be walking through the streets. That's why I left. But then Evidently, somebody must have got up and walked after I left out of here. They broke up the forum because we ain't even got no president. What, council president? Ninth Ward supposed to have been there, but Mashak gaslighting and him, the school teacher. I hope you're watching this, Miss Wortham student. They said, if y'all don't stop messing with my school teacher, they're gonna bring the whole PTA school teachers, a school body down, and she stopped them. I remember that. What kind of kids she teaching? Because they don't like the way you see that her seat is empty and a man of color in her seat, and Miss Mashak gaslighting the neighborhood. I mean, anyway, stay tuned, America, and you're gonna see what happened, how we gonna get out. We probably get our money tonight if they don't hop up and break the form before the New Year's come in. So, over and out.
The next speaker is Kawana Mack.
Hello. Yeah, I'm waiting on you, Liddell. I got something to say. Last week, oh my God, I died laughing. You was just like a tea kettle. Brain about to explode because you didn't have no power. See? Pow! And I loved it. And you know what? Davina, tell them to go call. Did you go call Leon? Where he at? That ain't your job. Get you some morals or something, kahunas. Tell them to tell you go call. And oh, Judy, Lord have mercy. You just too weak to even be a human being. And I see on here these resolution appointments. 240424-T. Want to appoint somebody to the Water System Advisory Council. What they gonna advise us? Our water's still poison. We still haven't got no water settlement money. And also, Liddell, you always want to say, I want to do things decent, and I don't want nobody skipping the line. Well, what about those people that fill out that ARPA money? Those applications. Now y'all gonna do a raffle, a lottery. You gonna get their driveway done too? On the city, Liddell? Yeah, now I got your attention. Poppycock. That's what I got for you and Mushat and Judy. We tired of y'all. We not finna sit one more year up under y'all crazy Looney Tune chicks. And you ain't got nothing to say now, huh? Man, you tickled me. Flew off that podium, ran to the back to talk to the police, and they was like, you was like, what about that? What about that? They was like, oh, you blew your top. I'm gonna go call Chief Green. I'm gonna go call the mayor. Then you gonna come back here and say, what Chief Green said, arrest Art. Like we believe what your crooked mouth say. You get out of here and go back to Maryland. Mushat, you go with her. See you next meeting. There you go.
The next speaker is James Moore.
I hope y'all can hear me. James Moore from the 2nd Ward. I'd just like to say to everyone that the Lecter area, it has a border, and for 3 minutes it should be sacred. At my last meeting I was at, something happened at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and a brother was escorted out. But I'm gonna say this here, I believe that if we work together, we can find solutions to try to get through some of these here problems. I see that here in the chamber that the police have been moved to the front seat, and it's been peaceful so far, and there's still an empty seat up there in the 3rd Ward. Maybe he might be elected to go up there and bring order, and we'll have peace in this here conference chamber, and we can get some things done, and we still have one at the back. I guess it's better than none. So let's just try to keep working together to keep the peace so we can all try to get through this here thing together. And as RL, my friend, has already said, Happy New Year.
The next speaker is Taylor Sampson.
Taylor Sampson, resident of the 8th Ward. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary and dictionary.com, gaslighting is the act or practice of grossly misleading someone, especially for one's own advantage, to cause a person to doubt their judgment, memory, or sanity through the use of psychological manipulation, to deceive a person or group of people through repetition of a constructed false narrative. Political gaslighting can be applied to your local, state, and federal governments. Always be mindful in times of an election as well. I'd like to note that some of the following can be sourced from the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and many political science experts and psychologists. Political gaslighters sow confusion, division, and doubt. They might claim anyone who is upset is misinformed or doesn't fully understand the context. They deflect and or undermine the credibility of anyone who questions them and their ideas or projects they support. Political gaslighters use jabs of shame, criticism, and conversation pivots. They may dehumanize individuals or groups. They'll use language that incites or entices violence. They need to prove they are right. Be wary of the politician with self-serving attempts to manipulate people. Political gaslighters are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions. A gaslighter's reality is their only reality. They will cover up lies to make themselves sound convincing. They will distort the truth and reality by creating a sense of distrust in others, cause mass paranoia, confusion, pain, and uncertainty. Further examples of a gaslighter's actions to keep in mind while listening to politicians. They specifically target opponents by discrediting them. They may encourage, spread, or deliberately say untrue things or misinformation. Political gaslighters change topics to divert attention from a relevant topic or the news. They try to silence anyone who has an opposing view. They try to influence the public's memory of an event or action. Thankfully, the internet provides recorded accounts and fact checks. Political gaslighters rely on emotional manipulation. They downplay the administration's wrongdoings. Political gaslighters lessen the impacts and damages of a devastating crisis. We're going on year 11 of the water crisis. Political gaslighting is a strategy used to garner support for or against an ideology, viewpoint, or policy that may or may not have the public's best interest at its core. It's ultimately a method used for their own personal gain. Do not trust this current administration.
The next speaker is Sandra Jobin.
Good evening. Here I am, another night. What a joke. I don't know how you guys get anything accomplished here. What this administration is a total circus. I really seriously thought about bringing in a red nose and clown hair and calling this circus in, because this is nothing but a three-ring circus. Oh, man. As far as following the charter, I mean, there's some people up there from the Republican Party that should know all about the charter, since they went out and, helped a lot of delegates to learn about the rules of order. But obviously they don't even follow it themselves. But, hey, rules for thee and not for me, I guess. This is sad. Why don't you let the people talk? And they picked a person for that chair. They put a vote in. The vote was in there. She was elected. She should be in that chair, and then we could get some business done. But as far as you guys calling out the other people of not showing up for the last meeting, I believe you three were the ones that walked out at 2:30 in the morning and broke quorum. Again, rules for me, but not for thee. So you guys, when you guys were elected to those seats, you told the people you would listen to them. You're not even listening. You're over there chit-chatting and texting each other and doing whatever, and the people are talking, and you have the audacity. But yet you want us to sit out here in the audience and listen to your BS. This is nothing but fake bull crap. And you know about it, Judy. You deal with it on GOP all the time. See, again, I'm going to say this again. When we the people come together and go against this establishment, and I'm talking establishment, I'm not talking Republican, Democrat, I'm talking the established people that take bribes. The people that don't care about the people until they get in their seat, and then they say nothing. They do nothing for the people that they said they were going to be for. Even as far as backing the president that they chose, that they said they were going to back or not back. So I'm just going to say this again. This is a waste of time, and I don't know how you guys are going to solve this issue, but that third person's seat should be filled, and it should be filled because the people spoke. Over 500 people come out to vote, and you guys are all about the voting until it's used against you, and then you're like, wait a minute, we need to appoint somebody because they're not going to go our way. So that's why the seat is not filled. And more people better know what's going on in Flint and wake up.
The next speaker is Gladys Williamson.
My name is Gladys Williamson. I'm in the 9th Ward. I'm represented by Jonathan Jarrett, and I tell you what, it seems so great to have a city councilman that serves the constituents that voted for him. And he is an honorable man, which says a whole lot about who you're not, Lewis, and who you're not, Priestley, and who you're not, Merchette. You people are evildoers, and you betray the people that give you their votes, and you don't think nothing of it, Merchette. And you have the nerve to ask to be the president now? And you're the one that got your tail up and left out of here when we were trying to select a president. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you stay, Lewis, Merchette, stay on your phones. Yeah, what they're doing right now is they're talking to each other, texting. That's what they're doing. They're laughing in our face. But I'm going to tell you, I am going to ask seriously that some of these city council people that... Don't roll your eyes at me, Judy. I can't wait to get a hold of you tomorrow. I got something for you. I'm seriously going to ask how we can go about making you shut your phones off and leave them in the counselor room outside there. Because you have no right to be on your phones. You have a computer that's assigned to you by the city of Flint. And that's what you have a right to. You do not have a right to be on your cell phones texting each other and disrespecting the people that put you in those seats. And as far as I'm concerned, you people are so falling short of what the people in Flint need. You have just about spent all of the FOIA money. It's almost gone now. And then this first ward Leon guy, he's going to have the nerve to get on a TV channel and say, oh, we need to get Lansing down here. Listen, was he not aware of what 3 emergency managers did to Flint? I mean, has that slipped his mind? That they took everything that belonged to Flint that was our history? I doubt it. You people are tooey on you.
The last speaker for this meeting is Arthur Woodson.
Good evening. Let me start by speaking about how illegal y'all are. Not y'all three. Liddell, Judy, Candace, and Leon. I won in court the other day. They dismissed the charges. Chief Green said that we can't be in the hallway. Well, the judge found that was a lie. We can. You all sit up here and violate people's rights, and then y'all have the media working for y'all because they hurried up and put that that people didn't show up for a council meeting, but when y'all broke quorum, when y'all was voting for a president, they didn't have nothing to say about it. Attorney Cuffs, you are absolutely wrong on stating the charter. If the charter, you can't add in council rules to what the charter says. The charter says that it's 1 year. That's it. And council rules conflict with the 1 year because you're extending the 1 year. That has to go to a vote. That has to go to a vote to the people to add something like that to the charter. You can't do that, man. It says 1 year. That's it. Bottom line, 1 year. Judy, I can't wait for the next GOP meeting. I mean, seriously. You didn't think, see, you cut me off the last time, but I'm going to talk about it this time. Yeah, I saw your eyes. You didn't know I knew all those people up in there. Yeah, you laughing, but you know what? I swear to God, I'm going to work on getting you off that GOP board, and I'm bringing a whole lot of people over there with me. Because you are not a Republican. You are a rhino. That's right. You are a rhino for real. You done spend more money. You done spend more money than a progressive Democrat that you talk about. I'm serious, and you have not even looked at the books. Liddell, you are just lawless. You done took the money, the ARPA fund money for Cyrus Park and got your driveway fixed, brand new concrete, brand new privacy fence and everything. Now you wearing new fur. Yeah. Oh, it's not funny. Looking like a moose for real. I'm serious. I mean, seriously, man. Y'all, we can't even come up here and speak about real issues. I'm serious. We can't even speak about how you should take the master fee schedule and lower the water service fees and sewer fees and give people a break. Y'all done took all the money, the ARPA fund money, and gave it to yourselves and to other people, and not one resident has benefited from the ARPA fund. That's crazy.
Yes, that was the last speaker.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Okay, now it's now time for council response. Would anyone like to address the public?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
First of all, even having Judy as chair of this should be illegal because her role is simultaneously goes with the president. It should be vacant and what we have to be clear, this is the first time that the council rules have not been in sequence with the city charter. We have a responsibility to have a clear understanding, or a basic one, and this council does not. There is a legal opinion from Clark Hill that I've asked for, I don't know, maybe 4 times on this exact issue, have not received it yet. So what happened that night, our last meeting, we have 4 council people who broke quorum at around 346. That's who broke quorum. They broke quorum, they went home. They were not about the city's business. So what happens with that? They added a rule 3.1. 3.1 is in direct violation of the city charter. The city charter states on page 26 that the role of the president and vice president is for 12 months. It is not for 12 months, 2 weeks, 12 months, 5 days. It is 12 months. The president picks the finance chair. When the president's role is done, so is the finance chair, period. Rule 3.1 added, or until a successor is elected. 4 council members at the same time got up and broke quorum, which means they can break quorum every single time to maintain those seats. There's no mechanism. It's trickery. It's them being slick. It's something that shouldn't be done. 3.1 is invalid because it should have never been voted on because you're not following the Michigan Home Rule Act, the city charter. If you want to change the city charter, bring an amendment with the resolution. We must have 5 votes. The 5 votes, then we must have a public hearing, and then we take it to a vote of the people, the voters, not the council people. This was done incorrectly.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Obviously, I'm going to echo every word that my colleague in the 6th Ward just said. And I will add on that the press sitting back there are dishonest. Because they will put out stories about certain colleagues not showing up. They will put out quotes from the mayor downstairs about certain colleagues not showing up, but they won't say, like Mr. Woodson said, about certain colleagues breaking quorum and reason why we can't get a president. They won't look and do investigation to see how the residents are treated. They won't do any of that stuff. They echo exactly what the mayor says. And it's a shame because, and will they put a quote out, or will the mayor put a quote out on why the 1st Ward isn't here tonight? Madam Clerk, can you call the 1st Ward and see if he's going to show up? Oh, yeah. So there is dishonesty, and like Ms. Sampson said, there's gaslighting going on to the 9th degree. So until we get honesty and true transparency, it's going to be utter chaos. So we need true leadership, and we need a change in leadership to get that. So just for the public's mention, this is the only meeting, because there's ambiguity, in my opinion, on the committee chairs, on their term. So this is the only meeting that has a committee chair currently appointed. The other 2 do not. So this is the only meeting I will attend tonight. So as soon as we adjourn for this one, I will be leaving.
Thank you. That is your time. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I would like to thank my colleagues in the 6th Ward and the 8th Ward. I agree with you 100%. And I want to piggyback off of something that Councilman Pfeiffer said about the mayor. The mayor needs to stay out of the council's business. The mayor needs to stay in his lane. We don't work for the mayor. We're not ordered by the mayor. We work for the people. And then I want to say, Ms. Mack, you are absolutely correct. It's not the clerk's job to call council members when they're absent for a meeting. And I'm going to go even further. It's not the clerk's responsibility to report to the so-called leadership of this council, the president, as to why a council member is absent from a meeting. It's not her business why a council member is absent from a meeting. And when I email the clerk and let the clerk know why I'm absent, the clerk should not disclose my reasons for why I'm absent. This is craziness. It has gone too far, and the clerk needs to stand up She's supposed to be in the middle. But I see what's happening.
Anyone else?
Madam Clerk,
Go ahead.
thank you. So I totally understand why Ms. Winfrey Carter feels that it's no one's business where they are and why she doesn't have to report to the clerk. Because if I was reporting to Rube's nightclub, I definitely wouldn't want anyone to know as well where I'm at. And so, and as far as the mayor, he is the chief administrator of this city. What we do or what we don't do affects the outcome of this city. So it is definitely his responsibility to make sure that the business is moving forward with or without us. And so as I hear my esteemed colleague in the 8th Ward, talk about illegal meetings and attendance, I want him to remember that he voted for the rule, as we say, 3.1? He voted in favor of that. So he should already know what he voted in favor for. So we don't want anyone to be ignorant when they voted for this specific thing. But, maybe it might got lost somewhere between the multiple absences because he has the worst attendance on this council. We can go all the way back to April where Mr. Pfeiffer decided that I guess he took an early break. So, April 17th, May 8th. We could talk about June 5th, July 17th. You took almost the entire summer off. So you not being responsible when coming to the other council meetings, we really didn't rely on your vote anyway because you choose not to be here and you choose to be in their election of duty. So I can talk, but your record speaks for itself. The fact that we have important things coming out of our wards. For your wards, you decide not to be here. But you already told people to get the F out of Flint, Mr. Pfeiffer. You said that. And so that's probably why you're not voting to move Flint forward, because you told the residents of this city to get the F out of Flint. I believe people should stay in Flint. You should answer for that.
Thank you. RL? Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'm calling Gladys to order. She keeps yelling out. She keeps yelling out. She keeps talking the whole time others are talking, so I'm calling her to order.
Thank you. Would you like to speak at the council response?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of things when we talk about the rules and what should and shouldn't be. I believe the late, great Councilman Quincy Murphy held up our rules process so that everyone could read and make adjustments to the rules. So everything that are currently in our rules, every colleague up here had months to take out, put in, make suggestions, change, or do whatever. At no point in time was there a suggestion made to change, remove, add, or do anything else to the rules. And Councilman Murphy wanted to ensure that everyone had a voice. And so he wouldn't even vote on the rules until there were months later when he realized no one was going to make any adjustments, that they were just going to continue to keep complaining. I also want to address the comment that the mayor should not be involving himself. So here's the thing. We have 8 council members. We are at a 4-4 standstill. It is his job to ensure that the city moves forward. And when he sees a council not getting along, not moving forward, he does have the right and authority to make some moves without us. But as an attempt at an olive branch, he has called a meeting twice to see if we could get over what we have going on up here to get the work of the people done, and it has not been done. Another thing I want to point out is if you are saying that a meeting is illegal when one person is chairing it, a person whom you all have stated you will never work with, if you think it is illegal then, and you're saying the person that's chairing it now, it's illegal technically under them, then you should not be up here. What it is another attempt to embarrass and malign the name of the current president. Simply because you do not want to work with her and you do not get along with her. The reality is, as I'm talking now, my colleague is fake coughing. Everybody's fake coughing. I just want to point out the fact that the level of immaturity is astounding. But again, if you thought that last meeting was illegal, this one should be illegal to you too, but I see you're sitting here present and accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of public speaking. I will now entertain a motion to approve, send the consent agenda to council.
Madam Chair.
I heard Mr. Pfeiffer. Would you like to support it?
Sure.
Okay, it was moved by Mr. Pfeiffer and supported by Dr. Lewis. Is there any separations?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
240404
Just a second. I thought I had my page open. 404, okay.
and 240506.
Okay. Any other separations?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
240515.
All right. Any others? Hearing none. The consent agenda consists of 240516-T and 240512-T. Roll call, please. This is the vote to send to council.
And Mr. Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Those will be sent to council. Our first separation is 240404. Is there any motion?
Send to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send resolution 240404-T to council. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So I will not be voting to support this. It's been on the agenda for, I think, several months now, and we have asked for documents that they can complete their funding and this store get open. It's been months and months. They said that they could get these. In my opinion, time has run out, so I will not be supporting this. And that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you. Any other?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
as far as the North Flint Food Co-op, I am a member, so therefore it would be a conflict of interest for me to vote for this, so I will be abstaining my vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? I will go ahead and take my time. I've stated on the record numerous times that I will not support this resolution, and I stand by that. Any discussion in the second? Any other discussion in the second? Go ahead.
Thank you. So I don't remember setting forth a set time, giving the Flint Food Market leadership any set date of if you do not have things by X date, then we're going to totally say no. So through you, Madam Chair, through the councilman in the 8th Ward, did we give them a set date?
You just talk to him crazy, not want him to respond.
Okay, very well. He did not respond. And so, as someone that was a member of the food market, but decided to forego my membership for the better good of the community, I think that we will be remiss to do this. Because, again, we have council member in the 9th Ward, he's also a member. We have the council member in the 1st Ward, he's a supporter. And also our deceased colleague, he also was an avid supporter of this as well. And the future colleague that may sit in this seat, they may also have an opinion towards this. So I don't want to just totally block something on behalf of the North Side. When we state that we are supporting North Side initiatives and endeavors, I want to make sure that we support everything that's positive on the North Side, everything positive in the city of Flint. And when you look at sustainable neighborhoods, having grocery stores are a part of that. And so living on the North Side, seeing the disinvestment over the years, it is important that we have this kind of investment. And so individuals that don't live there, they might not see it, but this is right on the border of the 1st and the 2nd Ward. And so I would like to leave this in finance so we can at least afford the other council members an opportunity to speak up and give them the opportunity to get supply the documentation for the future funding. So if we set a date for them to have it, wait a minute, and then we're also supposed to have ARPA allocated by December 31st of this year. So I really don't feel that it's fair that we can choose this date in November to be absolute and to decide that we're not going to give them funding. So it'd be fair if we were to set a date, or if we were to make it the December date to decide. You know, just like we're deciding if we're going to give them funds, you know, they're still getting other support. It's a lot of unforeseen circumstances that the Flint food market had to incur, such as, for one, building during a pandemic. A lot of things went up, such as labor, the price of cost, and also the price for security. They had to pay a security agency to secure the lot because people were coming into the food market stealing items and stealing building material. So these are things that we must consider. You know, when we say that we support the North Side, when we say that we support everything going on in everyone's ward, this is what we must think about. And so when you vote against something that's good for the community, it really makes you question if you are in support of everything good in the city of Flint. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. To you two, Attorney Cups, I would like to know the legality of suspending your membership to cast a vote.
And that's not an answer that I can give today. I haven't studied that issue.
Oh, okay, so that will be a reason why I will not support this at that time. I don't believe, well, I'm not gonna say I don't believe, but speaking with my attorneys who have won several cases which have been frivolous with the city, they have stated that no, you can't. And that when you suspend your membership just to cast a vote and then to go back. But then this goes back to treat this council like a body of 9. Then someone else will pick up that vote. You can't chastise a member, then ask him to answer a question to help you with it. Who's gonna do that? No. Is there anyone here from the food market tonight? I believe Ms. Wilborn doesn't work for it anymore. Is there anyone, through you, Madam Chair, is there anyone from the food market here?
Is there anyone from the food market? Apparently none.
Okay, so $300,000, and the questions that were asked, whether there's a time, actually it shouldn't be a time limit because someone's asking you and you need $300,000 to help leverage your other funds. There should be someone here every single meeting that it's on the agenda, and it's not. I don't.
Point of order.
What's your point?
Mr. Ariel just yelled out, them darkies have to eat. That's a racial slur, inappropriate, and it's disorderly. It's disruptive to the meeting.
Please do not.
He said these darkies gotta eat, ma'am.
Dr. Lewis. RL, please do not yell out. This has nothing to do with race. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
So with this being on here, it's important that if we have questions, which there are apparently questions, that a representative be here. They needed $1.5 million. The request was from Flint for $300,000. The questions weren't answered at the podium when Dr. Flynn was here. We have not received any of those questions in a written response, in an email, and they're not here now. That is a problem. We passing out ARPA funds and we don't know what people are doing with them. And everybody who got ARPA funds needs to come back so we can know, what are you doing with your ARPA funds? So at this time, I am not supporting this, because if that $300,000 was important, they would have someone here. Each time it's come up, since Dr. Flynn was here, no one has been here, and there's been 0 written responses or answers to the question, which leads me to believe they really don't want that money. I'm done, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else in the second round? Anyone else in the second round?
Chair.
Go ahead.
So it's been no secret that I have been in full support of this initiative, simply because, one, Flint is a food desert as far as grocery stores and having access, and the north side as well. I also have been in full support because what you had was members of this co-op who came together and they took a risk. and they put their money out there to help secure a grocery store and to help put an end to the food desert on their side of town. And so the reason that I have been so adamant about giving them an opportunity to come is because you have to think of those residents, the people who had hope and believed and put their money into this initiative. And so I don't want them to walk away feeling discouraged, or should an opportunity arise in the future where something does happen and it can really come into fruition, their hope is dashed, so that they no longer feel like they should participate in helping themselves out of a situation. And so that's another reason why this co-op and its success is so important to the city, is because of the hope that its success will bring to residents who have invested in it. Residents like our colleague in the 5th Ward, residents like our colleague in the 9th Ward. And so I'm not sitting here prepared to say, and I do agree that there has been a lot of time given, but again, my latitude is in response to my concern for the residents and the hope that they have that the North End will no longer be a food desert, and the North End can see some form of revitalization from what this grocery store will bring once it is open. I am open to leaving it here in finance, and also open to setting a date. Like my colleague in the 8th Ward, well, we didn't give them one, but I do believe in that line of thinking that we should set a date. I don't think that date should be December 31st, though. Because again, if we have until that date, what we're saying is we're gonna sit and hold on to money that could go somewhere else until the very last second, and I don't think that that is a sound plan as well, because if they do not come forward and there are other people that this colleague decides as a body should be considered for ARPA funds, we want them to have the opportunity to come before us to present for those funds as well. So while I am not interested in just allowing this to die tonight, I would ask that we all do a compromise of allowing this to stay in finance, giving them a date to come speak to us. If they do not have what they need by that date, some sort of written response, then we move on and we allow others enough time to come and present before us, or we allow this body enough time to find others who are in this category that have applied for money, or maybe it's someone who didn't apply for the ARPA money but would fit in this category, but we give them enough time to come and present before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? I'll take my time. So, in regards to this food market and not coming forward with their information, they knew what the deadline was. There has to be time to get contracts together and stuff. There is no time. They have not provided us with the information. They have come to us multiple times for different items, different things. And we've always heard excuses. Oh, we need $300,000 to deep clean the store. But they have the conference center open. We need $300,000. What is it for? Is it for stocking? Is it for labor? We don't know. It doesn't say. The resolution is very convoluted. Is it for youth jobs? We don't know. Although it has been approved by Ernst & Young, by our compliance firm, as valid, as a valid expense, there has been so many questions about this resolution since we got on council that it's sketchy to me. And I am not going to support it. So, seeing how I am the last one to speak, this is the vote to send resolution 240404-T. That was the second round I asked, yeah.
Madam Chair?
Did you want to speak? Go ahead.
Yes. I'll make a motion to keep this resolution in finance.
There's a motion on the floor to keep resolution 240404. Okay, it's been moved and properly second to keep in finance. This is the vote to keep in finance.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. Mr. Alamin is not in. The vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no. That motion failed. So we're going back to our main motion, which is to send Resolution 240404 to council.
Madam Chair.
You've already spoken in this round.
I want to put a motion on the floor.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
I abstain.
Which one are we on?
To move it to council.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. Mr. Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention.
The vote is 3 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention. That motion.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we move it to special affairs and give it a deadline.
There was a motion on the floor to send Resolution 240404 to special affairs with a deadline.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. This is the vote to send Resolution 240404 to special affairs with a deadline.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
We gotta come up with it.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett is absent. Mr. Alamin is absent. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
And the vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no. That motion fails.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
240506, move to council.
There's a motion on the floor to move, just a second, let me grab that resolution, 240506 to council. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So I won't be supporting this, as I said last time. I don't agree that outside groups should be involved in the elections. I think that's where, and I understand that colleagues have looked into this group and whatever else, but it goes down a slippery slope. If the clerk needed $20,000, we certainly, I'm sure, could have found it. So I will not be supporting this, as I said previously. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Through you to the city clerk. Madam Clerk, this grant was given and it was using for nonpartisan radio spots to let residents know when, where, and how to vote, correct?
That's correct.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's correct.
All right, is there anything else that was included in the radio spots?
I did email to council the scripts that were used for those radio spots, and I do have hard copies here. So you can see what was said on the ads.
And Madam Clerk, do you feel this, this grant money, because first of all, let's start with the fact that the city already has this money, correct? And this is a formality from finance that said it has to come through council for you to accept it.
That's correct. The council did approve a previous amount. And so this is a formality because the second grant amount was less than 10,000. So I was told after the fact that it would actually have to be approved by the council as well.
Okay. And so, and then finally, with this, do you think that the efforts with using the radio advertisement helped increase voter turnout?
I really can't say, but I would imagine that any information would be helpful for the voters. But it is, it was just straightforward, telling them the dates for early voting, last day to register, that sort of thing.
So these commercials were for early voting, last day to register to become a voter. And, okay. So I am going to support this simply because this was something that we already did pass, and that finance said that it needed to come through us for the specific amount for the radio slots, and that it was for voter awareness, and it was nonpartisan voter help, which we needed because a lot of people were confused about their polling locations, which caused us some issues in the primary, which caused us to see a very low voter turnout in our primary. And so, again, I will support this simply because it was nonpartisan dollars used for nonpartisan information that helped inform Flint residents as to how to exercise their right to vote and how to become registered voters if they were not registered voters. And so simply because this is a formality from the finance department on something that we've already approved, I will be voting to move this to council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I respect all my colleagues. Oh, I got this allergies. Oh. I do want to say to you, to the clerk, this is to balance your books. You spent the money already, correct?
Yes, this is a formality that was requested through finance just to, because it's a grant, so for the grant purposes.
And you had a 5,000 with 5,500 difference. So we approved the first part, and you had the second part, which came, the money is already spent, so this is just to balance your books, basically.
Correct.
Okay, so, and we talked about this thoroughly before, and everyone is in agreement where the money came from, and it's supposed to be nonpartisan. I agree that I don't like anything messing with our elections, especially when we have people telling people standing at the curb, parked in the handicap section, don't vote for the 3rd Ward, which was a problem for me. That was a problem. Our voting selection is a privilege to vote. I believe in democracy. And when we have people telling people do not vote because I'm the president and I'm not going to, we're going to select someone, there's a problem. So I will be supporting this so that we can balance this. It's already done. This way we can clear this out, move on. Next time, I think there needs to be conversations when these type of grants come, that council has a responsibility, and then you with the clerks, that we can discuss it beforehand so that council is aware if it's something that we have to approve to be afforded, not just the people that it's claimed to be leadership roles, because you can't pass anything unless you have 5 people. It has to be the entire body of the council, and we need to get out of this. So I'm going to support, because now you have to ship it and make sure you balance with finance, but we need to start making sure we treat this council like a body of 9. We have got to start doing it, because this is why we're in the predicament that we're in right now. And it's not a good place. It's an embarrassing place for us to be. I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Seeing none, I will take just a few short minutes and say we did approve spending of money for this grant and accepting of this grant. So this is a formality, and I'm going to support this. Any discussion in the second round? Any discussion in the second round? Any discussion in the second round? Hearing none, this is the vote to send 240506 to council.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? No. Mr. Jarrett is absent. Mr. Alamin is absent. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. That will be sent to council. The last separation is 240515. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I would like to leave this here in finance.
Okay, there's motion on the floor to leave 240515 in finance. Is there support? It's been moved and properly seconded to leave in finance. This is the vote.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett is absent. Mr. Alamin is absent. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That will, I will entertain another motion.
Council.
There's a motion on the floor to send to council. Is there
Support.
support? It's been moved and properly second to send to council. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
Okay, go
I'll
ahead,
let
Ms.
you
Burns.
go first.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. So this is where we have a problem. This is, we talk about spending these ARPA funds, and they have to be allocated by the end of December. And then we have the former president stating, because it's Councilman Pfeiffer's,
Point of order.
that she,
What's your point?
which one?
Jared's.
It's Jared, well, I'm sorry, the other person, that she wants to stop it, out of spitefulness.
No.
Despitefulness.
Point of order.
Despitefulness.
What's your point?
Despitefulness.
She's speaking
She's
to colleagues'
yelling,
motive.
she's yelling.
Madam, Ms. Burns, you are speaking to council members' motives.
And
Please
so
refrain.
when we talk about why we do this, well, I don't know, I wasn't at Rubes, she's speaking where people go, you know?
Please,
But, so.
please remain germane to
So-
this resolution.
So, when we have these rules, they're only enforced on certain people. I am not voting to suspend and send to Councilman Jarrett's back, because I'm not voting to do that. We didn't vote to suspend cutting grass. We didn't do that. I'm not voting to do this, and a lot of these are based on emotions. I'm not doing that. He has put what he wanted his for. We should honor it. It should be independent. It shouldn't have nothing to do with if this is the business. This is where we get bogged down at. I'm not voting to stop that. He knows he's been elected. Once he's elected, then let's go ahead and send it. He wants it to go there. Now, there is a need in our community, and this is the problem. This is what the people get tired of. They get tired of this. You know, I'm supporting this. I'm done for the first round, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is just out of pure spite, because this is for speed.
Point of order.
What's your point?
Our absent colleague in the 8th Ward is speaking to my motives again.
Please refrain from speaking to motives.
Point of order.
What's your point?
He didn't say it could be spite for his. He did not say that it was to Councilwoman Lewis. He did not. No one said because of Councilwoman Lewis that is. He did not say that.
Continue, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new motion and I'm just, wow. Anyways, this is for speed bumps, and this is going to the transportation department. There's no reason why they should stay. I mean, he wants people to slow down. This is for speed bumps. I don't understand why colleagues won't want to support this. I mean, every other person on this body spent the money and it was approved. But for some reason, they want to hold back Mr. Jarrett's. Maybe it's because they were voting for president for him. There is no ambiguity in this. If this doesn't pass, it is a shame, and that's where our council's going. But we'll see. You know, this is for speed bumps to make people slow down in neighborhoods. And we talk about safety, and we talk about supporting other wards. I mean, it was just mentioned not even 20 minutes ago about supporting other wards, and here we are. Maybe we're gonna shoot this one down. I don't know. Madam Chair, that's all I got.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? We're in the first.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want to be clear as colleagues continue to try to speak to my motive. Our colleague isn't here, and I want to hear from our colleague. And that's fair because we all want to, whenever something is on the floor, colleagues have questions. No one demonized other colleagues when they're asking questions, so this is not the time. And thank you, Mr. Pfeiffer, you're absolutely right, but you told me that you wasn't voting for my cutting grass because of my attitude. That has nothing to do with the second ward. So let's be clear when we're talking about voting off emotional and using your vote for spite, because you do that a lot with the second
Point of
ward.
order, point of order.
What's your
She's
point?
speaking to my motives.
No. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. It's on record. It's on record. Do we need the clerk to pull up the record that he did not vote for the second ward to get my $30,000? So we can pull this up and we can go at ease. You got to remember, when every action, there is a reaction. So let's not talk about people holding stuff up. I succinctly said, whoa, we got people talking in the back and they're out of order. This is ridiculous.
Go ahead.
I will after they stop. And so as we try to say that I'm trying to block something, no, I want to see great things happen in all 9 wards. But I want to talk to the 9th ward colleague about some concerns I have about this specific resolution. I'm not voting against it, not at all. Like the colleague in the 8th ward voted against my project because he didn't like my attitude or the way I said something. This is him on record. And it's unfortunately that he continues to not remember what he has done. Like when he lunged at me, when he broke city property.
Request for information.
What's your
Point of
request?
order. Point of order.
I got a request for information first. Go ahead.
Does a colleague in the second ward remember walking out, since you don't remember things, or you say I don't remember things, do you remember walking out on the mother of the 2 children that burned in the fire? Do you remember that?
That's inappropriate.
I
What was your
definitely.
point?
That's fine. Go ahead.
What was your point?
Point of order, you need to reel her in, Rule 43.21. She keeps speaking to motives. That was the day she sat in the wrong seat and refused to follow council rules.
Let's be clear and stay germane to the motion. Let's talk about only the motion that's on the floor. Go ahead, Dr.
It's not a problem,
Dr.
but we're talking about remembrance, and we're talking about the allocation of these $30,000.
Point of order.
What is your point?
This resolution has nothing to do about remembrance. Nothing about remembrance. Zero.
Thank you. Continue and.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's not utilize privileged motions to take the floor. And so, as I state again, I would like to hear from my colleague in the 9th ward about his specific resolution, just like everyone else wanted to hear about everyone else's resolution. They want to hear about the councilman in the 7th ward resolutions. The councilman in the 8th ward, he was here that day, so we were able to ask him questions. The fact of the matter is, he's not here. He has a resolution on the floor. Colleagues have questions, and that's just what it is. And so I will be voting no to send this to council, because I would like to have because I would like to hear from the councilman in 9th ward. But I will not vote out of spite. I will not do what my colleague have done and vote just because they have a personal agenda that they don't like someone. I will not. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in this?
Yes,
Go
Madam
ahead.
Chair. I'm going to vote to send it to council, and I would think that if we send this resolution to council, and I know that Mr. Jarrett will be here on Monday, and perhaps you can ask your questions on that day. And if you're not satisfied with his answers, then I would think that you would probably want to
Request for information.
not
What's your
vote
request?
for.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Because we're in the stalemate and our colleague refused to take their seat,
I
we
would,
won't get opportunity to
Madam
hear.
Chair,
That's inappropriate.
I would think
Continue.
that if you're not in agreement with his answers that you may ask of him, then I would think that you may not vote on it. But I would think that, let's go ahead and send it to council and then get your answers on Monday. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Are we still in the first round?
First round.
So, I'm just going to state that everybody who has bought their 30,000 before council, we had to talk about it that day that it was brought before council. I also want to point out that my colleague in the Fifth Ward often states that we should not skip committees for things. And so part of the way to get answers, as she often states, is in committee. So may I offer a compromise? Can we send it to special affairs, hear Mr. Jared's reasonings, and then move on? Because this is his 30,000. This is what he wants to do with this 30,000. If we just need to hear on the record why, let's send it to special affairs and call it a day.
Are you making the motion?
I would like to make a motion to send this to special affairs, a substitute motion to send this to special affairs.
Is there support? All right. So that was seconded by Mr. Pfeiffer. All right, this is the vote to send to special affairs.
Mr. Pfeiffer. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to special affairs. This motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there support?
Support.
There's one moved and properly seconded. Is roll call, I guess.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. This motion, this meeting is adjourned at 7:17.
The time is now 7:17 on Wednesday, November 20th. I call this legislative committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. El-Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Excuse me,
whoa.
you must go back to your seat.
No.
No, it's
No.
not. We've already called it to order. Thank you.
Back up.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. We have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. Let's see. It's 5 p.m. We have 3 members present for the meeting. We have 6 members present in the chamber. Excuse me, we have 5 members present in the chambers. And so, due to lack of quorum, it is now 7:19 p.m. I call this legislative committee meeting to a close. The time is now 7:19 p.m. on Wednesday, November 20th. I call this Governmental Operations Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. El-Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis? Ms. Lewis?
Right, present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. We have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. All right, seeing as how we have 3 members present, and then We have 3 members seated and present for this meeting, and we have 4 members in the chamber. I do call this meeting, I do adjourn this meeting due to lack of quorum. Meeting is adjourned. Oh, Liddell, I believe you have a meeting to call to order.
In 10 minutes. In 10 minutes.
Huh? Oh. So, Judy, guess what?
So the next meeting for the appointments for 3rd Ward will start in exactly 9 minutes.
Once again, this is a different meeting. If this meeting is called to order and you want to speak at this special council meeting, you need to fill out another speaker slip. The speaker slips are in the back right now.
All right. The time is now 7:31, and this special city council meeting is now being called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. El Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 3 members present.
Okay, we have 3 members present. And so I would like to state a few things for the record. According to this special city council meeting, we are holding this so we can hold interviews and also select an appointment for the 3rd Ward vacancy so the 3rd Ward can have representation. So, Mr. Attorney, just want to make sure that we are all clear. So, according to the charter and through legal opinion, are we in line to have this meeting?
Yes, because this is a special city council meeting. To my knowledge and information, it was properly noticed. And again, it's a special city council meeting, so the prior president of city council becomes the chair of this special city council meeting. However, it still requires a quorum, just like all meetings.
All right, thank you so much. And again, this specific meeting is being called so we can have representation in the 3rd Ward because the 3rd Ward has been without representation and someone to attend to the 3rd Ward services since September the 29th. And the current date is, want to make sure I state that for the record. It is currently Wednesday, November the 20th. And it's almost going with 2 months without the 3rd Ward have a proper representation. The goal was for the current council members to stop disenfranchising the 3rd Ward so we can move forward with the business of the city and so we can go on and select new leadership for this body. But because our colleagues decided not to attend this special city council meeting with the sole purpose of interviewing and appointing a 3rd Ward council person, they will continue to serve without representation. So, colleagues, do you have anything to add before we adjourn the meeting?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just simply wanted to state on record that our commitment to the 3rd Ward and ensuring that we are able to get them to the point where they can.
I just want to stop you really quick because I hear a lot of noise coming from the back. So if we could we please have you all lower your voice or take your conversation elsewhere because we're trying to complete this brief council meeting. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate our commitment to the 3rd Ward and getting them to a point where they can elect their own representation. As we know, our dear colleague passed, and so what happened with the recall election is that you are not able to recall a deceased individual. The state of Michigan kicked it back to the city and said we had to follow our charter, and our charter states that we had 30 days to appoint. While we did not hit the 30-day deadline that we were given, we are able to still appoint for the 3rd Ward. What happens in this process is once we appoint, we can also immediately set an election so that the 3rd Ward is free to elect their own person. We understand how important elections are. As a former appointed city council person who is now an elected city council person, I do understand coming from a ward who wanted to pick their own representation, as I'm sure the 3rd Ward would like the opportunity to present their own representation. I would like to thank Mr. Rich Jones, who has left the meeting at this point, Mr. A.C. Dumas and Mr. Kerry Nelson, who have all come out tonight for the interviews. I do also want to apologize to the 3 of them that unfortunately we are not able to honor the time that the three of them set aside to be interviewed tonight because we did not meet the quorum requirements. While we did have enough council members present, I do believe my colleague in the 5th Ward is present right now, but that still would not get us to a quorum, even though she is not seated. If she were to take her seat, we would still not have the quorum needed to honor the time of, I do see Mr. Dumas and Mr. Nelson back there ready to go, 2 3rd Ward residents who I'm sure we can all say that they would like representation for their ward because they are here to be interviewed to be representation for their ward. The bottom line is, it is council's duty to appoint and then set an election so that the 3rd Ward can then elect who they would like to sit up here for the next 2 years until 2026. And so, seeing as how we cannot continue, and I just hope that Mr. Nelson and Mr. Dumas, who are still sitting waiting to be interviewed, will have their time honored at some point in the future. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I'd like to all the 3rd Ward residents who are listening or watching to know that they may contact either Mr. El Alamin or myself, and we will help you so that you do have some support and in your problems within the city. I have helped several. I know Leon has helped several, and we will continue to work together to ensure that the 3rd Ward is taken care of until they get elected representative or an appointed one.
All right, so thank you so much, Ms. Priestley. Thank you so much, Ms. Machette. So as we close out the meeting, we must be mindful that we have missed 2 special city council meetings, 1 meeting, which caused this council to basically be in jeopardy of losing hundreds of jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars towards the investment of the city, as well as causing this council to continue not to be a full functioning body and for this 3rd Ward position to be unfilled. So with that being said, this meeting is now adjourned.